Thank you, Tom, for that amazing weather report. Now on to our next story. This is Kelly Clark reporting for WRHS in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We are so happy to have Judge Taylor Garfield with us today. Nice to see you, Judge Garfield. He is the great-grandson of James Garfield, the 20th President of the United States. And he wanted to talk to us about his new book, Grandpa Jim, which are some interesting facts and remembered stories about his his great-grandfather, James Garfield. Judge Garfield, I just have to say how much I enjoyed reading this book. Not only is it filled with good memories, but I thought the parts written about your great-grandmother were especially good. The history and stories revealed make this a bestseller in my opinion. Judge Garfield, what are some memorable stories you would like to share with us about your great-grandfather?
Well, first, Kelly, thank you for having me on this. I'm honored to be on this show and to write and now share many stories and facts about my Grandpa Jim. He was a man that any grandson would be proud of. He was born in Ohio, became a teacher in his early 20s, married my great-grandmother Crete, was commissioned as a brigadier general during the Civil War, served 18 years in the House of Representatives, and then was elected President of the United States.
So to say the least, he was very ambitious, was he not?
He was. His strong work ethic was always very apparent in everything he ever attempted to do.
I heard you mention your great-grandmother, Crete. Can you tell us a little bit more about her?
One story I remember my mother telling was that Grandpa Jim said about her, she grows up to every new emergency with fine tact and faultless taste, which was a quote that Grandma Crete used to say. I think all the Garfield women that followed always tried to emulate her strength. I know she and my great-grandmother were inseparable in their later years, which is also a testament to her remarkable character.
If more women could be like Crete, our divorce rate would definitely decline. What do you think are some of the things he was most proud of?
Well, I know he was proud of being a teacher. He always felt he was called to help others learn, because he wanted to pass along many of the things his father had taught him, not to mention all his book learning, as he called it. Then there was his commission in the Union Army. After winning a battle, he was promoted to brigadier general. Not long after that, President Lincoln wrote him and asked him to run for office in the House of Representatives as a Republican, which he did and continued to serve for 9 consecutive terms, which was a total of 18 years.
Wow.
But at last but not least, he was proud to be the 20th President of the United States.
What do you think were some of his greatest accomplishments, in your opinion?
After he became president, the political climate of the country was, well, I'm just going to say it, really like it is today. As New York Senator William L. Marcy said, to the victor belongs the spoils. During great-grandfather's presidency, he did appoint some of his favorite men to certain offices, but he also appointed some arch rivals of some very important senators at the time. This was the Gilded Age, and patronage was the standard of the day. Patronage, in case you have forgotten some of your American history, was the practice in which a political party, after winning an election, gave government jobs to its supporters, friends and relatives as a reward for working towards victory and as an incentive to keep working for the party, as opposed to a merit system where offices are awarded on the basis of some measure of merit, independent of political activity. But Gigi was able to shift power back to more appointments. He was instrumental in energizing the U.S. Naval Power Base and purging corruption in the Post Office Department. He made many diplomatic and judiciary appointments, including a U.S. Supreme Court Justice.
I can see why you were so proud of him. Did you want to mention anything else today, Taylor?
Yes. He also appointed many African Americans to prominent federal positions. As president, he advocated a bimetal monetary system, agricultural technology, an educated electorate, and civil rights for African Americans. His thinking was very much ahead of his time. He proposed a substantial civil service reform, which was eventually passed by Congress in 1883 and signed into law by his successor, Chester A. Arthur. As the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, this law was passed in part due to public outcry over the assassination of my Gigi, or my great-grandfather. The Pendleton law required certain applicants to take the civil service exam in order to be given certain jobs. It also prevented elected office officials and political appointees from firing civil servants, therefore removing civil servants from the influences of political patronage and partisan behavior. The Civil Service Commission, in addition to reducing patronage, also alleviated the burdensome task of the President of the United States in appointing federal office seekers.
Now, I did read about his tragic death. Can you elaborate on this some more?
Yes, James Garfield was shot at a train station. A rejected office seeker, Charles Guiteau, shot him in the back. Guiteau wanted a job via the spoils system, also known as patronage. The story has been told about Alexander Graham Bell using an induction balanced electrical device to try to find the bullet. But unfortunately, this was unsuccessful, and they never found the bullet from his body. The family took him to the New Jersey beach to rest and recuperate, but he died from an infection and internal bleeding shortly thereafter. He served as president only 200 days before his assassination. He died on September 19, 1881. Our family has been speculated about all the other good things he might have accomplished had he lived. But we forever are grateful for his supreme example and sacrifice. Grandmother Crete lived about 36 years longer after he had died. She spent her remaining years working on preserving his history and legacy, so that generations to come would know and understand what a wonderful man James Garfield really was.
Taylor, it has been a true pleasure talking to you today. I have enjoyed listening and learning more about your famous Gigi and the politics of his day. Good luck with your book, and please come back to visit us here at WRHS in Murfreesboro as soon as you can.
Thank you, Kelly. It's been my honor.
Awesome.